Well, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Traders Around the World. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. It was incredible weather here on my side. I got to spend some time outdoors with the kiddo and enjoy Mother Nature, which is unique when you're a trader, of course. I hope folks are doing very well. Looks like folks are doing well. I'm happy to see so many folks here joining us this market morning. It is a shortened week of trade this week. And it's one of those weeks where we've got to be very clear. We're starting off the week in an oversold bounce from the wrecks that have happened in this market, the small fires and the bigger quakes that have happened over the last week and a half. The themes there in terms of AI rotation, AI hyperscaler trade breaking down, Mag 7 becoming the Drag 7, all of that kind of stuff has played itself out and is not necessarily done. We are in an oversold bounce at this stage off of lows, and I want to get right into preparing you for the tactical trade, this market morning. So let's get right into that, folks. Everything that I do and say here is for education and insight purposes only. It's not meant as advice. I'm not a registered financial advisor or representative. You must consult yours before making any trading decisions. Trading involves risk, not just reward, risk of loss. Trade with money you can wholly afford to lose. When I trade, it's always in line with my risk trading plan, which is unique to me. Consult your registered financial advisor or representative and get a risk trading plan. Whether I'm discussing past trades taken, doing live trades in front of you, coming up with plans and projections for future potential trades, I'm doing whether I'm doing any of that with respect to a live cash account, a demo account, or a prop trading account, it's all done for education and insight purposes only. It's not meant as advice. And finally, if I poll you in the chat, and I give you an average response back to that poll, the sentiment there is not necessarily indicative of the sentiment of the entire group, just those responding. I don't audit the chat, so do take that stuff as anecdotal. Well, a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to traders around the world. Looking very much forward to being here with you to navigate markets, trade markets, provide you with my insight as we move through this shortened week of trade. Everyone ready to go? Give me a 7 in the chat, lucky number 7 in the chat, and off we get started for this market morning. All right. Looks like folks are good to go. Amazing. I'm happy to see that. Well, it's so nice to have so many of you here today. Let's get right into it. So I want to start off with just like the plain clothes charts with key levels on it. And then we're going to take it down to a chart like this that has got more technical indications on it. So we're going to start off by taking a look at the major markets. We'll start off with the primary market, the S&P E-minis. And this chart goes back to May. These are daily bars. So we know that we're in a marketplace that looks like it's in a head and shoulders pattern. For those who are not familiar with that, that can be a topping pattern. Some would just say we're in a range. We've came down to the bottom of the range and redefined it or supported it and made clear that there was a bounce area from whence we took off in the early part of May. We did that around June the 9th to the 11th. We came down towards that area, but not all the way down into the end of last week. And now we're getting this oversold bounce. So what I want to point your attention to over here that really matters is if we can see price, you should be able to see my charts. If you can't see my charts, let me know. For folks that are listening in right now, I want to double check because I got I got one message in the chat saying that you can't see my chart. Can you see my charts, folks? Are you good? You should be seeing an ES chart. So I think Heinrich, yeah, it might be on your end, right? Okay, so let's get back to it right now. Okay, so thank you, folks. I appreciate that. So we've got a bounce on the primary market. It's up 0.9%. And the most important number that I can provide to you right now is right over here. And for folks who are not seeing the chart still right now, however you might be viewing, change the settings because the chart is streaming right now. And so is my video as well. Okay, so I want to make sure that folks know that. So here we go. The level is 74.70 to 74.75. I'm just making the numbers round so it's easy for us to understand. You can just have one of them. 74.75 is the most important number. This should sound very familiar to last week. Effectively, this is a couple of volume point of control lines going back on the primary market to the beginning of May, and then one that goes back to the beginning of June. Okay, these are very important cutoffs to measure how many contracts exchange hands at what price. And for the primary market, we've come up and tagged this area. We've been up as high as 74.73 in 3 ticks. We have not yet surmounted it. So we've actually knocked on the door, but we have not, no one's opened it up and we have not walked through. This is a little different for the NASDAQ E-minis. Now, keep in mind, the ES is up 0.8%. The NASDAQ is doing better than that, but it has not been able to even knock on the door that it needs to go through for up, up, and away. So knocking on the door would be coming up to about the 29,820 area, which is a number, again, that should be very, very familiar to you, from days gone by. Well, really from last week, where you kept hearing me say that's a key waterline, 29,820. Well, we haven't even knocked on that door, but the NASDAQ is up 1.1%. So it's doing a little bit better than the S&P is. However, we're still in a situation over here where, you have to be very, very clear that the idea of a market, being able to get sucked up and have this rampant oversold bounce continue. It's not there until the NASDAQ is there. The NASDAQ has to get above that level. Now, you can see these numbers running down the right-hand side of the screen with lines associated with them. These are weekly pivot levels. I use two strategies. I use a DeMark and a Fibo weekly pivot strategy, and I superimpose it on all time frames. The weekly pivots tend to be the most useful. Now, in the pivot strategy, there is a center of mass. It's the thicker purple and blue line, right? What I refer to as the mattress. When you take money from under the mattress and you take it out, you're putting it to work, risk on. When you take money from above the mattress and you put it under, scared, saving, risk off, more downside risk. So we're trying to get the money from under the mattress back up above. It has not done so as of yet. Let's go back and kind of correlate that to the ES. Is it above the mattress? Yes, it is. Okay, but its waterline is above the mattress as well. And that's the 74.75 line. And we have not been able to breach it. We've knocked on that door. The NASDAQ has not knocked on the door at all as of yet. Now, a couple of keynotes. In order to understand probability of wallets opening, more buying happening rather than selling, or more sustained bullish positions for those who got in earlier in the future session, we want to understand whether or not the things the market is tugged on by are actually supportive to the market, being tugged up or being tugged down. So how do we look at that? You can reduce it down to direction of the euro. The euro is the other side of the dollar effectively. It makes up about 6/10, just over 6/10 of how the dollar is calculated or valued. So if the euro is rising, the dollar is going down. Now, if the dollar is going down, typically that is a tailwind for equities. So let's go and just have a quick look-see right now at which way the euro is going. So the euro's in a downtrend channel. It's pervasive, it's nasty, it's negative. It's been in this downtrend channel for quite some time now, going back to the beginning of May. And we came down to lows that we hadn't seen since last June of 2025. But we're bouncing off the bottom of that channel, and the euro is currently up just shy of 1/5%. So once it's up about 1/3% to 0.4%, that gets us into statistical significant range for a signal. We're not there, but it is modestly bouncing. So it's trying to keep a lid on the dollar. And one way to understand whether or not that lid on the dollar, which a rising dollar can be a headwind for markets, one way to understand whether or not that lid on the dollar is there is to look at whether or not precious metals are taking the cue from the euro actually bouncing and the dollar coming down? And the answer is no, they're not. So very briefly, I just want to make mention of the fact that I'm not seeing these macro tethers to the market be extraordinarily supportive. They're leaning that way, but they're not signal worthy at this stage. Silver is, unch at this moment in time, and gold was down slightly. It is about 1/3%, nothing too significant. So there you have it. You've got a marketplace that's knocked on the door on the S&P E-mini side. It's knocked on the door to try and carry this oversold bounce higher, but it's not walked through the door. That door is 74.75. Okay, 74.75. And on the NQ, or the NASDAQ E-minis, in order for an oversold bounce to continue, we need to get up to knocking on the door, which is at 29,820, and we need to actually walk through it. Okay, now I haven't talked about the other side. We'll manage the other side, downside risk, using the technical tools live on screen. So let's do that right now. So as far as the NASDAQ E-minis go, what I've got on screen right now is a daily bar, the set of daily bars. Again, it's the same sort of thing that we were looking at. The differential is that we've got technical indicators overlaid on price. So on the main chart over here, You've got the champion trend, you've got volume histogram at the bottom of the screen. You've got the champion cross buy zone, the champion trend buy zone. They're in place, and the dots there for the champion cross indicator. And we do have a tentative triple S buy, which is that triangle, but price is yet to get above the top of this 3-line channel. That 3-line channel is known as the MSR channel, the moving support and resistance channel. Are we above the top of the channel? No. Have we been above it? Well, if you take a look at the entire future session, the answer is no. Right? The entire session, we have not been able to get above it. And look at the number. It's very close to that water line, 820. It's sitting at 29,800 roughly. So we have not yet walked up, knocked on the door, nor have opened it in order to say this oversold bounce continues. So we're right at an area where resistance exists. So what we have to do is take smaller time frames in terms of technical signals and see if they project us up. The smallest time frame that's projection worthy is a 5-minute time frame, and the 5-minute time frame right now is not showing us a lot of optimism for up and away. We've just converted into a triple S sell signal state on the last closed 5-minute bar. That's the 9:20 a.m. bar. And you can see the champion trend sell zone is there. You see these little red dots at the bottom of the screen. That's part of the champion trend pack toolkit that Rob's developed, over decades winning competitions. And right now, at this moment in time, we've got a champion cross sell zone. That's the red opaque zone at the hard right edge. Okay, and the red dot at the bottom of the screen. The champion trend indicator is in a sell signal state. The triple S indicator has got a down triangle on a closed bar. So the 5-minute chart tends to project out 20 to 90 minutes. And right now we're in a sell signal state, of which maybe 5 to 10 of those minutes are expunged of that potential 20 to 90 minutes. So there may be more selling in front of us. Now, what you heard from me so far is that you're in a market day where you don't have catalysts beyond the oversold bounce. Oil's under control. The euro seems to want to bounce, but it's not really giving a glow to precious metals, which would give me that higher probability that markets can go up and away. And the NASDAQ, which is the most important market, which you're looking at right now, is seeing downside risk at this moment in time. So is there, a clean answer to, hey, are we going to go up and away? Well, the clean answer that I can provide to you right now is until we are knocking on the door at 29,820, we want to watch our backs, right? It's an oversold bounce. It's going to try to crawl its way back up potentially. It'll falter like it seemingly is faltering at this moment. Morning, Christian, and good morning to everyone logging in now too. But the idea is until we're able to knock on that door at a bare minimum, forget about even walking through it. We haven't even knocked on the door yet. We've come close though. The high on the day has been 29,000, right over here, 29,760 points effectively, save for a tick. So we've come close, but we have not actually walked through the door. So where do I want to trade long more so than any other price line? Above 820. Right? Above 820 is where I'd want to trade long. But look, if we get pulled back into support and we start bouncing up off of that, sure, that might also become an option. The 4-hour chart's trying to struggle bust its way to that same area. The center of its MSR channel is around 29,830. The 4-hour chart looks out 3 to 5 days, and it's not yet in a buy signal state. Now, the daily chart, interestingly, is trying to get into a buy signal state from a triple S standpoint. It is from a champion trend pack standpoint, at least tentatively, because the bar is still live. The day is not over. It's just beginning. The 1-hour chart is in a triple S buy, but we're not seeing it above the speed line. So again, I still have the same concerns. 820, 830, above there, the door opens better for longs. If we're going to come down and we're going to break something, markets open in just a moment. If we're going to break, let's call it 29,600, for example, downside risk is there down to the, low 500s. Let's take it down to a 5-minute chart right now. What's the signal right into the cash hours open? It is a sell signal. I'm going to take you down to a 1-minute chart at this stage, and we'll see what kind of action we're going to get off of this, right? Remember, 820 is the number. If we start coming down and breaking things like the center of the 1-hour chart's MSR channel, 29,600, perhaps shorting may become even better. We're coming down to 612, 601 at this moment in time. I'm very tempted to do a scalp short here because we're starting to unravel, but it is still very early in the session. So I want to take some great care here. We could be coming all the way down to 527, 520. And it is accelerating to the downside, and I'm getting a case of the shoulda, woulda, couldas. But it is, of course, the very first move on the day. For those of you that are, very, very much into aggressive action overall, all the power to you. I want to wait for some stability over here. Are we just seeing a little bit of a vomit whoosh that is not consequential for direction? Perhaps, right? So I'm going to wait it out for a moment over here and get a sense of whether or not it can continue in this fashion down or not. And that was quite the range, wasn't it? So is it still in a sell signal state? Yeah, the 1 minute chart's in a sell signal state. The 5 minute chart's in a sell signal state. We are below 820, which we haven't even tagged. We're below effectively, we've already breached below the center of the 1 hour chart MSR channel. So I can't fault one that wants to play short below roughly the center of the 1 hour chart's MSR on the NQ, which is around the 29,600, pretty much dead on 602. Below there, sure. But if we shoot up like we are right now and we get back up and above 29,700, we're going to start getting back above the speed lines, and we're back in the same place that we were during your pre-market intelligence briefing. And look, it could very easily come up there. We've already had a very large range on that first few couple of minutes of trade. So I'm going to wait right now and see how this market wants to behave. I've taken us down to a 5 minute chart, and I don't want to hit the buy button on a sell state, but if we're coming up above 714, I might be able to take on a long side trade, because that 1 minute chart is starting to free up from resistive structures, and I could try a very quick long side trade. I'm trying one right now. I'm in it. I'm not in it to win it, and first trade of the day is $195 of profit. So first trade of the day, $195 in profit. It is still a valid entry. For those who are still holding it right now, you're probably going to see a rise that can take us up. Let's go and just check out that 4 hour chart. Could we be moving up towards the 800, 830-ish area from where we are now? Do we have 100 points of upside in front of us? The 1 hour chart's gotten back above the speed lines, which is good, above the top of the MSR channel. It's trying to take out the high from the last 1 hour bar. So these are all encouraging things, but I don't trust this market for a lick at all, right? I'm in a market that is in an oversold bounce on the heels of some fundamental structure of the market breaking down, right? An overvalued AI trade rotation around them, breakdowns because of higher prices that Apple has to charge because of higher memory costs effectively. All of these things together leave me in the spot where this is still just an oversold bounce from a trader's perspective. Now, it's done well. First trade of the day has gone well for me, and I hope that that gives you some inspiration or provides you with some insight on trading direction in general. I'm going to go take a quick look-see through the chat over here and just make sure that everything that I can see on screen is good. All right. So folks, for those of you that have been trading the first move out of the gates, let me know, did it work for you? You can let me know with the lucky number 7 in the chat. So that was a very initial trade, and I want to see if I can do that again, but this time I might want to do it on the ES. So this time I might want to do it on the ES. So I'm seeing the ES at 74.76 and continue to rise. The NQ is rising at this stage. So I'm going to bring the ES on your screen right now. Let me just pop that up on your screen. And we'll reduce it down to a 1 minute chart as well in just a sec. I just want to make sure that all of the structures are aligned in the appropriate manner so that I'm comfortable with what I'm doing. And it's 80 to 83 that we're getting up to. I think I might have missed my entry over here. And Raheem, I see 9:30 a.m. scalp always works. Well, hey, if it always works for you, amazing. I'll jump on the back of that. It does not always work for me, but it is a nice little neighborhood to be in. So what I'm going to do right now, because there's a lot of charts on screen, I'm just going to make the 1 minute chart full screen right now. And I want to toggle really between the 1 minute and the 5. So let me just nest these two. It's very easy to do with wealth charts. So I want to just get those side by side. And right now, very quickly, we've gone from a sell signal state to a buy signal state on the triple S tool. You can see the up triangle. We're above resistive structures. The 1 minute chart's in a buy signal state, but you can see the slowdown in price rising. So you can see that the fast speed line, which is that blue line, and the slow speed line was the magenta line. There's actually some compression happening. Now, if you're comfortable reading price, you can just look at price. It's started to stall out and go sideways. So no long side trade here yet for me. No repetition of that trade. But it did well on the NASDAQ, right? We got up to effectively the mid 29,760s, rivaling, I think we made maybe a session high at that point, but still haven't walked through the 820 area. So I still don't have clarity that the risk on move is going to continue over here. But I'm happy to see so many folks here that did actually participate in that first move. That's amazing. And that's nice to see in the chat. So thank you for sharing that insight with me. Okay. So now at this moment in time, all I'm doing is waiting patiently to determine if the buy sequence is going to resume. Remember what kind of market we are in. We are in an oversold bounce after major structural breakdowns have happened. We don't have a lot of the forces that tug at the market saying clearly they're going to tug it up, right? That was the whole conversation about the euro and gold and all that jazz. So we don't have enough of that happening. And it's an oversold bounce. And we, by the way, don't have a lot of data. The next set of data that comes out that's important is this evening, and it's China PMI data. So there's a lot that happened in the world of AI and the world of infrastructure over the weekend. And right now, before I even let my mind go to fill that color in, I'm looking at whether or not the implosion that we're seeing right now is good enough. 5-minute charts unraveled right back down towards the bottom of its channel, 74.59. I don't know that the short signal that's tentatively on the bar is going to follow through until that door opens, 74.59. So I've already done an NQ trade. I want to do an ES trade as well in front of you, but I'm not ready to hit the short button. I think we're in an oversold bounce that has a better than fair chance to try and continue. So that's all I'm doing here. And I agree. So Maz, you're saying on higher time frames, it'll go, it'll go back to shorts. I agree, right? Because you can't erase the negative energy from last week, right? Last week was nasty, right? That was last week. These are daily candles now on the ES, right? That was last week. That was Monday. That was the end of last week, which we, by the way, had forecasted out at the beginning of the week. And it worked out fairly well. Right now, the S&P E-minis are trying to get above, the water line, which is 74.75. And we were there moments ago, right? We were there moments ago. We got up to what, 74.79, 74, pretty much 74.79. So remember, I was talking about that water line, that the ES, that door that it's knocked on from your pre-market briefing. Well, it's now opened that door ever so slightly, right? It's opened that door and it's tried to put one foot in, but it's still not, we still haven't crossed the threshold and walked through. And the NASDAQ, has it even knocked on the door that it needs to open? No, that door is sitting up here, right there, from volume points of control going back all the way back to beginning of May, effectively. And it's sitting around the 820-ish area to 830-ish area. We haven't even knocked on that door as of yet. What's also important to see is that we're coming down below the bottom lip of the mattress, the center of the weekly pivot range. So that's a bit problematic. Now, I like the idea of a bounce resuming because the hourly chart's in a good enough spot. So I'm just going to nest these three charts so we can cycle through them. The hourly chart's in a buy signal state. It's above the channel, above the speed lines. We're getting back up to the water line, 74.75. I could try a trade up to 75. I'd rather trade above 75 and then again above 79. I'd rather trade above, both of those markers. So if we start crawling our way up through 74, 75, not interested. We start accelerating, I'm interested. So I'm getting ready for it. We're at 74.70, tentative buy signal. There is a trade available right here up to 75. But again, I know that volume point of control line going back to May the 1st, sitting at 75, is literally staring me in the face and saying, wait for that to be breached again. And I'm waiting. If I have the knowledge and I've got the analytics, in play properly, and I don't follow them, that's on me, right? So I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to wait. I want to see if I can get above 74, 75. And then I'm going to try potentially a long side trade. The NASDAQ is sitting at 29,715 at this moment. It's trying to pull us up, but I've already done a NASDAQ trade. I'm going to try an ES trade. Let's see if we get above 74, 75. My finger's on the trigger. Button is depressed, but I haven't unclenched it. We're looking at a 1 minute bar right now. Just hit 74 and a half. It's there's 75. It tagged it once. I got in. Now, that might be premature, but the trade went profit positive pretty much right away. I don't think I'm going to hold on to it if it goes below 73. But right now, it's starting to open that door again. There we go. There we go. And thank you very much. I'll take my second profitable trade of the day and close it. And that was a whopping a point and a tick of profit. But what I'm here to do is give you as clean and as sober a look at what is going on, where there are pockets for entries. And if the trade ends up being a very short duration trade, like a scalp, so be it. Right. At the end of the day, I'd rather not, set something down in an oversold bounce market, which is what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with a fundamentally strong set of buyers coming out saying up, and away we go. No. And it's only been the first, I think we haven't even passed the first dozen minutes of cash hours trade as of yet. So that last trade that I took right then and there was very short in duration. It was on the ES. I wanted to be able to demonstrate that we can do both, trade the ES, trade the NQ. Here's the NQ back for you. That's a 1 minute chart on the NQ. And it's holding above the channel. It's holding above the speed lines. So all of that's good. 5 minute chart. It's in a buy signal state. It's looking good. 750 is effectively where we are, 750 to 730. And we're holding above the speed lines. So I'm just cycling through the time frames right now just to make sure that everything is aligned well enough. As long as we're above 29,700 and a handful of points, half dozen points, the door does remain open for this oversold bounce to continue, but it's continuing to get to a line that says it can continue further. The ES has already done that, right? The NQ is the problem. The ES is sitting at 74, 76, and there might be a cleaner trade on the ES using the NQ right now as a backbone for that. Similar to what you saw me do a little bit last week when there was a lot of range. But right now, I think both are getting interesting enough to try either or. So let's go and see. And Rajasad, I think you asked, do I use bracket orders? So what I do is I try to come up with as many credible entry opportunities, grade the trade, give you an idea of where I think it's going to go, give you an idea of what the nature of the market is. And, I tend to find in an online environment like this where people drop in, drop out, their focus is everywhere. I want to make sure I come up with as many opportunities as I can that are credible. And I'll take, pretty much all of them, not all, but pretty much all of them. So there's one forming right now. And I want to see if I can grab a breakout trade. Fingers on the trigger, button is depressed. I'm going to try it above 770, 774, 775. I'm a little worried about it being more whack-a-mole-like because when I take a look at the high that we just got up to back over here, these are 1 minute bars again, shortly after the open. And the bars that we just got up to right now, we pretty much made a double top type test. And my indicator, the triple S indicator, did not make a higher high. That's a negative divergence. So it's not great, but on the ES, it's a little cleaner. So the ES is a little cleaner and we're getting above the 80 marker. There's a trade up to 83. I'm trying it right now. I'm in it. I'm waiting right now to see if I can get some profit. There we go. Thank you very much. And I will take a 1.5 of profit on that little pocket, which I diagnosed. I didn't get in right at 80, right? I got in at, 81.5 or somewhere around there. And then I got out with a 1.5 of profit on that trade to 83, which was an area that I had already assessed as, hey, we might have some resistance there. Now I'm going to take you back to that hourly chart. And we're going to be looking at that water line from earlier in, let's just go back in time over here and just double check and make sure that everything is good to go. So this is last week and just want to make sure that I've got my bearings right. So we're coming into the territory where we've had, the market being batted back down several times. All right. It was some nastiness. We saw that last week. I don't want to take a trade until I know I'm clear of this area. Do I need to participate as it struggles its way through? Or if it's slicing its way through, it is. The NASDAQ right now is doing something that opens the door for long side trades. And I am looking at that as opportunity. So it has made its move up. We've come up to the 820-ish area effectively now. And I'm wondering whether or not it's time for me to try a long NASDAQ trade. Now, if the train's already left the station, running after it's not what I want to do. Okay. You see it in the movies. You run after a train and you grab onto the very back and someone's hand comes out and pulls you on. This is not a movie, right? This is your money. So I don't want to chase it. I want to run. I want to jump onto the train if I know it hasn't left the station. So right now it hasn't left the station, right? It was just starting up. And for those who are not aware of what I'm talking about, the 820 line on the NQ is really a zone, right? The zone goes from effectively 820 to 832, right? This is that structure now that we have knocked on that door, similar to what the ES did, right? The way I set it up for you to start off the day is, hey, the ES has knocked on the door. It's now actually above that water line, 74.75. So it's actually above that water line. So that's encouraging. It's up right now 1.1% vis-a-vis Friday's close. And the NASDAQ at this moment in time is up 1.4% roughly vis-a-vis Friday's close. And the good news is at least it's knocked on the door. Is it going to open that door and walk through? So at what point do I want to trade it? Do I want to trade it when it tries to knock on the door again? Do I want to trade it when it's walked through the door? I stated it up front. I'd much rather trade long the NQ where I can hold the trade for more than seconds, minutes, that, I can run it for minutes to maybe more. It would be above the 820 marker. And we're trying to make a run for it again. Got some good signal alignment between the 5-minute chart, 1-minute chart, 1-hour chart's not fully there. And there's resistance at 865, but we're trying to make this move again. The ES is sitting at 74.86. And a trader's instinct at this moment in time is saying, watch your back. This could be trappy or this could be bull flag breakout, and it's going to be hard to catch. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it above 820. Fingers on the trigger, buttons depressed. I have not executed the trade yet. I'm waiting to see action that sustains above 29,820 for seconds at least. And I don't like the compression in the speed lines. The idea of a negative divergence got broken, right? You can see the indicator in the subchart. It's made a higher high with price. So that's a convergence, not a divergence. And again, to answer your question, Rajasad, I'm a purely discretional, directional trader, right? So I actually enter with market orders and exit with market orders because I'm trading something extraordinarily liquid. There's good reason to have stops in. If I feel the market is unstable, I will use wealth charts, which is very easy to get a stop set up. You're going to effectively, might as well do it now and show it to you. So I'll just put in a simple bracket as a selection, stop loss, and I can put a 10-point stop in there, which would be 40 ticks, and just say, hey, I want it trailing, and make sure that I have it set correctly, and there we go. Oh, and Anthony, I just saw that in the chat. That's actually a good point, right? There's probably some positivity into the long Independence Day weekend. That would be the idea. So I did not really jump into a conversation on seasonality, so I agree. So apologies for that. It's not my primary focus, right? Seasonality and liquidity kind of work with each other, right? Liquidity is being drained from the system with a strong dollar, driven by people that are afraid that they're going to lose everything in this mess of money being created and borrowed against potential future infrastructure for AI and the potential for future revenue and profit, and the over leverage in that area. Hey, I'm glad that I didn't get into that trade, right? I waited for the 820 door to open, but to kind of complete the thought there, Anthony, I don't think that it is a leading indication for a trader. It is couching, but the couching that I want to provide you up front, and I want to make sure it's super clear, is we are in an oversold bounce in a market that looks like it's in a topping pattern. Now, I'm not going to mess with the oversold bounce and, kind of take on a short and stay there and dig my heels in. I ain't going to do that. I'm going to work with this oversold bounce. And if the NASDAQ gets above that water line, the 820 line, I'm interested in trading it. I was just getting ready by putting a trailing stop in there, which I think is a useful thing to do. Now, obviously, to each their own. I'm putting it at 10 points, which can expire and play out, very, very quickly. Those that are trying it, be careful and just be aware that you can get whipped. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's see if that impulse to buy grows again. I'm trying it again right now. I'm in. It's not profit positive just yet. You can see the stop is working. It's in there. Okay, there we go. There we go. Oh, nope. And see, it got stopped out. Right? It's a very, very quick, very, very, very quick range. Now, that's why I like doing it in a discretionary manner. But Rajasad, I wanted to demonstrate that on for you there. And I hope that was useful because it is an important part of making sure that things are there, that things move forward in your P&L. And Suraj, you're asking, which indicator is the 2 green dots below the bar? That's part of the triple S indicator. So I'm actually going to remove the stop loss strategy at this moment in time. I'm more comfortable actually just working it as shown. So I'm going to keep working it as shown, and let's see how it goes. All right. So I hope folks are enjoying their time so far in the session. I hope that you've gotten a bunch out of it so far. Let's go see if we can get some more done over here. Bear with me for a moment here. I just want to make sure that the right screens are streaming all right and everything's good. Yep, looks good. Okay. All right. So we are sitting at 830 right now. The impulse to buy seemingly is strong enough to attempt another long. I'm going to try one up to 865 above the high of the current 1-minute bar. It's a little whippy. It's trying to get off the, it's effectively trying to get off of this consolidation range that's happened from 9:45 a.m. really up until 9:51. And we're not yet at the turn of the hour. So I'm willing to work with this and see if I can get a trade off here. So my finger's on the trigger. I'm not depressing the button yet. I'm just waiting for this impulse to buy to really burst. And I want to see if I can catch it as it's rising through the high. I've got the double green dots from the triple S tool in there, as Suraj, you were asking. The triangle before those double green dots, right back over here was the triple S buy indication. Okay, my finger's on the trigger, button's depressed. I'm not unclenching it yet. And this is a little tricky because, it's getting skittish each time it goes up. And we're dealing with 35, 40 points of range, right? So it can go really wrong really quick. Either trade the micros, have a stop in, or accept the risk, right? Or trade something else. Like I said, micros, or I could use the fact that the NQ is trying to get through that 820 door to take a trade on the ES. Let's see if it, that could potentially work. So I'm looking at that on another screen, but right now I'm backing off that buy trigger. I don't want to misfire. We're still in a buy zone, right? We're still in a buy zone. We can see that on the 1-minute chart. On a 5-minute chart as well, it's also just started, right? So it's there. The hourly chart's above resistive structures except for one, save for one, and that's at 865. So if I'm going to take a trade above 820, 830, I'm trading it up to 865 or higher. And then the next trade would be above 865, but neither nor are making themselves available at this moment. The ES is probably going to be better to trade, Simon. You're absolutely right. And Dave C, that is one way to handle it, right? Prop firms require, depending on the nature of the account, what you're trying to do, do require having stops in there. And there's nothing wrong with having a disaster stop in to take care of that. Or, when we get into that kind of question, like think about the number of points, like look at how large the range has been, 60, 80 points. 80 points on the NQ have transacted, in less than two and a half minutes. or more in terms of points. So this is very, very risky at this stage. We came right up to the door. We knocked on it, knocked on it, knocked on it. Did we walk through? Nope. So again, right over here is that living proof, right? I want to know that I'm getting through this resistive area. The NASDAQ knocked on the door just like the S&P had earlier, right? The S&P already knocked on that door. It walked through that door. It's also backed off below it. That door is around 74.75 for the ES. And things are starting to come unglued at this moment in time. You know, does that, do I want to flip to a short thesis right away? No, I don't. I want to see my signals turn around, right? I want to get rid of the emotional bias or any anxiousness, anxiety, or misfiring that can happen with the wet matter in between my ears. I want to know the signals are there. So I'm starting to see sell signals on the 1 minute chart. What about the 5 minute? Tentatively, yeah, but it's a big whipsaw here, which is that is very, very much in line with what we saw all week last week. And the ES is below 74.60. I could try a short on the ES below 74.60. That could work. I'm considering it. Not there yet. I am not there yet, but I am considering it at this stage. So I'm still profit positive on the day. Low triple digits, $140 in the two accounts that I was trading. I was up a little bit more than that, but I had that stop loss example take me, I think maybe $200 down, so there and abouts. So I'm still up modestly. Okay, that's good, but that's not really a driving force for me right now. I am seeing the ES become a better target for me to try and short. Actually, below 74.60, we can whoosh all the way back down to 44. 45, and I'm interested in trying the short below 60. So I'm trying it right now. I'm in. I saw profit positivity pretty much right away. I want to see if it lasts. I don't want to see too much red on this trade because it's very, very opportunistic. I'm not seeing it follow through enough, but I'm holding it, and I'm taking 62.50 of profit on that trade. Okay. Are we going to whoosh down to 44? Well, I'm demonstrating that there's an entry. Do I know that it'll follow through? No. Are we coming into support? Yes. If I want to short this bad boy again, it'll probably be below 55. Probably be below 55. And I want the NQ on my side to do this, right? Meaning I want to know that it's imploding. And we are at 29,600, which is the line of danger for the NQ. Without too much question. Now it's the center of the 1 hour charts channel. And Fuad, you might be right. You might be right. It feels, Fuad's writing to me, it feels like it wants to close the gap, go down to previous daily close. Let's see. And Raheem, I just saw your messages in the chat. You got short at 29,808. You took some profit on that. Amazing. Well done, my friend. Well done. I see a question from Ordinary Guy 873 saying, can I use wealth charts on my smartphone? Yes, and there's a brand spanking new mobile app, which is incredible to use. And I love using it when I'm on the road, even in other moments as well. Tom A. Just passed another PA. Amazing. I am happy to hear that, my friend. Ken T. Like to see those big numbers on the board. That's amazing. Good for you, sir. Looks like folks are having a good start to the week from what I'm seeing overall. I want to continue my good start to the week too and get another opportunity to trade this bad boy. Below 55, I'm considering a short side trade that can whoosh down towards the tail of this candle, which is the first minute bar. Or we're simply back testing where we launched up from, and we're going to start another journey up. The NASDAQ is trying to tell me it wants to do that, right? The NASDAQ's actually closer to that happening. You can see it on the 1 minute chart here, right? It's trying to turn the corner. It's not there yet. It's still in a sell signal state. So I don't trust the long. Okay? I don't trust the long as of yet. I'm fine trading short as long as the NASDAQ's breaking things down. The NASDAQ's breaking things down, sure, I'll take the short on the ES. And I'm late to the party, but I'm trying it right now. I'm in. It is profit positive, and thank you very much. $100 of profit on that trade. Okay, $100 of profit on that trade. And we did break down below 29,600, right? We're on the NQ. We're at 565, 560 at this moment in time. We're coming back into the area that we launched up from. So right now, those who are playing short and continuing to short, look, staying in your shorts is fine. So if you want to have a valid trade and not scalp it, short is still valid at this stage, but you are coming into an area of support where we launched up off of. So, have your stops in, make sure that you're managing it. I'd like to get a more stable trending market. This is not a trending market, right? This is not a trending market. So at this stage, I'm just waiting. All right, so we've crossed the hour. How are folks doing right now? Let's get a good, just do a little temperature check of the room. Some good trading so far. I'm seeing some great comments in the chat. Folks are doing well. Some good questions have come in already. I hope I've encapsulated for you the nature of the market day and what we're kind of dealing with. It's an oversold bounce market. We're trying to get through a door. We've knocked on that door. We've been above that door for the ES. We've knocked on that door for the NQ. On both accounts right now, the ES and the NQ, we're not through those doors. So there's a bit of an issue there, the fact that we're not through those doors. So at this stage, I'm seeing some good responses in the chat, and feel free to let me know. I want to make sure that folks are getting a really good, robust sense of what you're getting by spending your time here each market morning with us. And I want to, for me, I put myself on the other side of the screen. Show me where I can get good trades, right? And literally bring me to it. But I want to teach you how to find that and show it to you, right? I want to be able to do the learn and earn effectively. So far it's working in terms of the market support in this area. It's holding on. Let's see. And Tom H, yeah, last night was pretty smooth, right? So I'm seeing some great comments in the chat. Folks trading a variety of different contracts and doing well. So that's great. Now, it's not going to be a bed of roses for everyone all the time. I get it. But, it's kind of encouraging when I'm seeing the chatter come in, and it's very positive. So I'm seeing some positive chatter in general. Things seemingly are going very well. From the group standpoint, I'm seeing folks, put some big numbers up on the board. You see my trading be profitable as well. And let's see. And Louis, I like your Zoom summary. Short is valid. Continuation short is valid. Long is invalid. Support is near. Manage carefully. Amazing summary, man. Well done. Thank you for sharing the summary of what I said. It just makes it so black and white. It makes it so super clear that you can't argue with it. But let's go and take a look at the charts again ourselves. So the ES is starting to weaken again, and it's making a run for the border. Border being lows down over here. I want to see if the NQ is kind of leading that. It's trying to. Neither are below lows from 7 minutes ago. About 4 minutes ago, 4 or 5 minutes ago. So somewhere down below the 29,530, the NQ becomes a little bit more motile to the downside. And let's just see where we're going, because I want to chart that out for you at this stage. So below 530, where are we headed down to? Below 530, the number is below 525, 523. Where are we headed down to? Let's go back up another time frame, go back up another time frame. We're headed down to the center of the daily charts MSR channel at 460. So below 520, it's down to 460 on the NQ. Okay, I think I'm going to use it to trade the ES, but I feel like trying it here as well. So I'm going to give it a quick go. And I'm in right now. I'm in, and I'm going to take 250 $15 of profit on that scalp. All right, looks like that worked. So I'm just demonstrating that we're etching away down. The ES is valid as well. Those who are holding MNQ shorts, amazing. Okay, we're still, or what's the micro for the ES? MES shorts, amazing. It's still working. The trade is still valid, right? For those who are still holding, good on you. It's still going. So below 520, what effectively we're doing is coming down below the hourly charts 3-line channel, MSR channel. So we're already below it, right? So I already diagnosed for you below it. We are opening up the room to potentially come down to the center of the daily charts channel, which would be support. And of course, the bigger the time frame, the deeper the technical tracks are, the higher the walls of resistance, the stronger the floors of support are. So we know that on the daily chart of the NQ, there's support at 450, okay? And if we go sub 520 again, sub 520, we're already below support structures on the 4-hour chart. So that's not going to help us, right? The 1-hour chart has that lingering support that we're trying to push through right now and get below 520. And we're below it by about a handful of points right now. The 1-minute chart's in a fairly robust sell signal state. The impulse to sell is strong. I'm not seeing anything too wrong over there at this stage. It all looks fair. The ES is going to be my target. And of course, I want to build my P&L. So you see me take profitable trade after profitable trade, except for that one that got stopped out. I'm currently up about $517.50 on my trading so far, all live in front of you. And these are 1-contract trades, very short duration, to demonstrate where I can get my entry, where I can run it. And like I said, this short is still valid, and I'm considering jumping on the backs of it using the using the NASDAQ as an indication to trade the S&P. Now, look at the bottom of the chart. Look at the subchart indicator over here. You've got effectively a deeply oversold condition. Or, as a momentum trader would look at it, aggressive oversold can get even oversolder. So we're headed down to 460, right? We're coming down to 460. Now, I'm not on this train. Like I said, for those who are still holding on to your MNQ shorts, your MES shorts, it's valid. Now that we've come down to the target area, one would want to question, are we going to just slice right through it, right? Remember, 450, 460 is support. If we slice right through 450 over here, my bet would be we'd get a reversal, at least a counter trend bounce into the falling resistance structures that you see on screen here. So we're sitting at what, 460, 470, 450, bouncing around pretty wildly. The ES is coming down to a critical level at this stage, 435, 436 on the ES. 74.35, 74.36 on the ES is a major line in the sand, which is going to matter. And if it holds, I don't want any business being short. So right now we're sitting at what, 74.40. For those who are starting to evacuate their bearish positions or have already, good on you, right? We came down to the 450 area. And like I said, the bigger the time frame, the deeper the technical tracks are set in, right? The stronger support floors are, the higher the walls are to climb for resistance. So you're looking at a daily chart right now. And on the daily chart, 29,450 is the center of the MSR channel there. We came right down to it. We've held it. We've held the test. Doesn't mean it will still hold, right? We're in a sell signal state on a 1-hour chart now. Tentatively, I've got that triple S triangle below the channel. Let's go to the 5-minute chart, which is in a sell signal state from a champion trend pack standpoint and a triple S standpoint. We got a range breaker, triple S sell. We're below the channel. There's some technical damage. We've got a wealth signal. We've got the double red dots from the triple S toolkit in play there. So I do need to see that next level of support break. Otherwise, this oversold condition that we're in is going to be a microcosm of the nature of the day, right? We're in an oversold market that's having an oversold bounce. That's effectively the nature of what we've been dealing with on the day. Bear with me for a second over here. It looks like I got to just update something on another screen. got logged out of a system. And I just want to make sure that I can get logged back in. So give me just a second here to move some stuff around on my crowded screen at this moment to get that done. All right, I think I'm almost able to do so. Okay. All right. All right, I think I'm good. All right, let's see. So we've already had a good day so far. Now the question mark is, can we continue to make it better? I'm just reading through some of the comments in the chat. Okay, so we're breaching through the 440 area. It's dragging the ES down to 74.35. We're a couple of points or a point or so below it. And this is a critical area. If the door opens now below 74.35 on the ES, I want to short it. And for those who are holding shorts on the NQ or MNQ or have reshorted, I understand that. So I'm going to bring my ES chart up on screen here. Okay, I'm putting that up on screen. It's a 1-minute chart of the S&P E-minis. Yes, we're deeply oversold, but it can get oversolder. We're in a sell signal state. I've got my double red dots from the Triple S tool. I have my Triple S sell. Okay, we're just hovering around that 74.35 number right now. And I want to know if we just, release the hounds and break down. The 5-minute chart's in a good sell. Hourly chart has support at 25. So below 35, I've got 25, and I'm going to take that short right now. I'm in. Okay, I want to see if I can work it down to 25. I'm not here hopeful. I'm just working it. My finger's on the trigger to get out if it doesn't want to go. But there we go. Let's see if we can get it down to about 25. We're at 28. I'm taking my profit. It's getting too hesitant to continue. For those who are holding it, we're not going to know that this is not going to work until or unless we're above 36. So right now it's still in motion to work. If you're in the short, I can't tell you what to do, but I can say it's still a valid hold, right? I tried to bring you to that line. And for those who took it, amazing. For those who are still holding on to it, amazing-er. Okay, that's great. And we just hit the target line. Are we going to breach it and continue? We're now sitting at 23, 22. So this, this oversold bounce day had a bias to try and continue up. But we had an inkling that the NASDAQ was telling us, hey, look, it was not able to knock on the same door. Remember the ES and the conversation we had in the pre-market briefing between 9:15 and 9:30? We saw the ES had knocked on that door at 74.75. It hadn't walked through it at that point. And we recognized that the NASDAQ E-minis had not even knocked on the door. It took the cash hours behavior to get it up to knock on the same type of structure, and its structure sitting at around 820 to 830, and it's just imploded right back down. Now, danger with the NQ getting into this zone. There's support between 375 to 350, but below there's a lot of open air. Yeah, there's a little bit of the buying tail left from Friday, but there's a lot of open air. There's a lot less volume profile histogram support, and down this market can go. And go sub 29,000 effectively. Now, are we in a market that wants to continue the downtrend from last week, or does it want to try and shake the tree, see what falls, and it's a shakedown, but it's not a breakdown, right? The answer to that question is only going to happen when it's obvious, right? The obvious is take out the low from Friday. So the nature of the question is, are we in an oversold enough state in sell signals, but in an oversold enough state to actually get a bounce out of this market and have the oversold bounce resume again, right? Or not? And it's not a bad question to put out to everyone that's listening in right now. So that's amazing. And Ken T, I'm proud of you, man. That's amazing. That's awesome. So let's just put this question out to everyone right now. Okay. And Nixie, you're saying the drop started coincident with the US DYEN move, suspected intervention. Can you look? Oh, you mean the USD yen? Okay, got it. I understand what you're saying. The carry trade worries. Um, I don't think I'm going to bring up the yen right now, but that's an interesting correlation that I will have to look at. Okay, so right now, folks, we're below the 350 marker. Things are coming down fairly precipitously. Those of you that are in shorts, kudos to you. Those that maintain shorts, kudos to you. Let me know how you're doing. I'm really hopeful that folks have been able to get something out of this. I've given you a bunch of short trades on the way down, and I'm hopeful that folks are able to take advantage of it and, of course, manage it appropriately. We're getting a little oversold bounce in this down move right now. We're getting above the speed lines, cutting the shorts off can start to make sense, but usually after a move like this, we're going to have another re-go down before it can find a base if it wants to and heal itself. So here's the NQ now. I've just had the ES on screen there for you. And again, to each their own on how they want to manage. I'm in profit positive state, about 542.50 right now. We're getting larger and expansive moves, so I'm taking great care with my decisions. Of course, the opportunity to continue seeing unravels here, and folks that want to play that, amazing. Just taking a quick look-see right here. And Toonie 0806, me too. I like getting in and getting out, right? And Anna 66, what are you saying? Yeah, Wealth Charts makes it, the platform should become like a limb, right? The platform should become like a limb. It should become, and it should be very dexterous. It should never be an encumbrance. And Wealth Charts is that. It is like another limb. It's an extension of the trader. It's built by traders for traders, which makes it, very intuitive to use. So I agree with your comment there. It's the way to go. And that's why Wealth Charts has been making noise for the last little bit, and a loud noise it is, and it's a good noise. Okay, back to trading. So we pushed up through the speed lines. We came back down as I was discussing. We would likely try to. If the door opens below the low, 272, continuation down becomes likely. With the larger moves still on the NQ, I'm going to use the NQ to trade the ES, but I've done both in front of you. We see the NQ come down, lose support below 273. I'm interested in then shorting the ES. On the backs of that, we're a little oversold, so I want to make sure there's no divergences here that I have to deal with. And we are coming down towards the local low. We're at 290-ish right now. Get below 275, 270 on the NQ, 275, 270. That's going to encourage me to want to take another try at shorting the ES. Right now, I'm just going to wait. Let's see if that oversold bounce happens. Ordinary guy. That's hilarious. It's always good to have a little levity in a stressful environment, but it should never take you off point, right? All right. And Ken T, you've asked a really good question, right? The question is, what are your times for trading? Do you have, windows that you like to trade? Do you have a stopping point, amount of dollars won, lost? So with the nature of the role that I play, I'm trading quite frequently, probably more than I would want to if I was not in this role. And I love being in this role because it forces me to be accountable live, literally on camera, and speak my mind, give you that live stream of logic, and make it useful at the same time, right? So if it was up to me, I think the first hour and a half, the last half hour, and if there's special events, like if it's a Fed day, for example, that'll open up some more room. But the middle of the day is really usually not a great time to trade. There can be drift, and there can be what seems to be stable moves. One would have to just assess, but that's the idea. So, as well, hey, Wes, I appreciate that, man. That's very kind of you. The hardest part is getting a live stream of logic that is not encumbered by my cognitive biases, right? And fighting that each day is it's a battle for everyone, not just me, right? You want to trade what you see, not what you think. You want to think to build a plan, and then you want to see whether or not the triggers for that plan are working, and then you want to look at taking them. So I'm doing that right now. And I don't know if I'm ready to go again. I'm waiting, right? We're getting this fast speed line above the slow on the 1 minute charts, rising counter trend into the falling resistance. It's so tempting to try to, take on a long, but remind yourself, right? And just as a quick lesson here, when I'm day trading, the chart that I'm actually day trading, the time frame that I'm day trading is the 5 minute chart. Right? We're still in a sell signal state on the 5 minute chart. If I go long against that, I got to suffer the consequences that come with it. Now, if we get above 74.35, when I do my work, in the pre-market and the weekends to understand the structure of the market and the key levels and the pockets that, we can see prices get sucked up or whoosh down in, well, that's a key line. Above there, shorts are going to get really scared. So there could be a mechanical, exodus of the intraday shorts that are on the table, markets net short from cash hours effectively. And what that would do is, bearish positions cover, you get price mechanically getting pulled up. So I want to be aware that 74.35 is an important area where that can happen. And I want to be careful, not just try to reshort it on a back test. If it breaches and it gets above 35, which it's trying to do right now, more can happen, right? 35 doesn't even get us into support of the channel on a 1 minute chart, but it is a volume related analysis that I've done, volume profile related analysis, in fact. And it might be easier to see that if I do it right here. So above 35, right there, okay, we've got a minor node at 38.5, and then it's hollow until we get up to about 47, 48. And I'm pointing to the gray bars. I'm pointing to the volume profile histogram. And you can see the hollow area in the bigger volume profile exercise here that goes back to the beginning of May, right? These hollow areas tend to act like inflection points. All right, we've got a hollow area right there around 35. We've got a tiny node from the action on the 17th onwards, sitting at 38 and a half. And it's been trying to hammer up at it. It hasn't successfully gotten through it. So look, maybe the resumption now is here, right? Resumption trades are in the category of risk, right? If you look at a risk ladder of setups, resumptions usually are lower risk, higher probability of success. And we've had a nasty down. We've had about a third of the range retraced, and we're starting to resume the down. So can I just take it right here? The NQ is below support structures. The ES is below. I'm going to try one. If I get the NQ breaking down below lows of the current, it just did. So I'm going to try an ES short on the basis of that. I'm a little late to the party, but I'm going to try it. I've entered in right there, and immediately it's not working. Immediately I saw $100 off base, right? So I'm getting nervous about this one. I don't like what I'm seeing right now. I'm still in the trade begrudgingly. We're hitting resistance. We should back down. If we cross back up above, I got to take a hit on it. We crossed above. I got to risk manage myself out. We're trying to actually make a run for 35 again. We're trying to make a run for 35 again. So I damaged my P&L by about half at that point. Still in the green, but that was not a good one. So at this stage, are we making the run for 35, and are we going to get back up into the channel? Because we can get sucked up in price over. You can see we just hit 30. Yeah, we're getting sucked up at this moment in time. There's a small note at 38. And I'm thinking of actually taking the long on a reversal back up. Okay, we just broke 38 and a half. I'm going to try a little entry right here. I want to see if I can get anything out of it. If it implodes right back down, I'm going to have to get out of the way. This is a very high risk trade, but volume profile and that 35 line are what's, really on my side, and it's not working. I just don't want that to whoosh down on me. It's still struggle busting its way up. It's grabbing a hold of the channel. And look, I'm going to take some profit while I have it of about 87.50 right there. Okay. It's making its way into the 1 minute chart channel. And look, this is not a great environment for long, but there's a pocket up to 47, right? From 35 to 40, well, really 38 and a half to 47 and a half is the pocket. And it's a challenging one. I got a little piece of it. Okay. So I'm all right with that. NQ's back to, 460-ish. NQ above 500. The game changes, right? Let's go back to that 5 minute chart. No, we're simply rising into falling resistance. But here's something unique that, for those that might not know, the indications that are on the page, there's two sets of technical indications. One is the champion trend pack, which has 5 indications. The champion trend indicator, which is literally, it says buy zone, sell zone, and there's a trail line. Think of that as the granddaddy of the champion trend pack toolkit overall, right? It's the final line, if you will. And you can think of the kids as the champion cross. Kids are going to be more mobile, more motile, and you are in a sell signal state. You can see that opaque red zone there when I highlight the indicator. Okay, and you can see the dot at the bottom of the main screen. That's part of the champion cross. So champion trend and champion cross, when both of them go live on the last closed bar, whatever the time frame, okay, and they were both live on the 10 a.m. Eastern Time 5 minute bar, the champion trend pack indicative toolkit is in stage 1 of a 3-stage sequence. Stage 2 is usually remarked by wealth signal, which is that orange ball. And if it's above the bar, it's a sell signal. If it's below the bar, it's a buy signal. So we got the wealth signal on the 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time bar. But we also got one of these dashes. What's that dash? That dash is what's called a breakout forecaster. That actually puts us into stage 3 of the CTP sequence. So we went from stage 1 on the 10 a.m. Eastern Time 5 minute bar into stage 3. We jumped right into stage 3 on the 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time bar. On close of that bar, we knew that. Then we got another breakout forecaster, then another. But then they stopped. So what are breakout forecasters? They're the final stage of that 3-stage sequence that this indicative toolkit provides us. And it's usually where we're going to have the more expansive moves with less bars. But when we have an absence from the last breakout forecaster, which was on the 10:15 a.m. bar, if we have an absence for 2 to 3 bars, and in this case, because we're going down, if we have an absence and a bullish speed line cross, which is what's happening, okay, it's not there yet. We don't have the fast speed line above the slow yet, but we have an absence. What usually happens is the sequence is over and we go and back test the last, the second, the third last breakout forecaster. It's very common to see all 3 of the last 3 tested on a 5-minute chart. It's very common to see the last 4 tested on a 1-minute chart. So we've tested the last, the second, the third, pretty much the 4th last. If it's going to resume its sequence, right around here is the time for it to start falling apart again. Right? This would be the location where it can resume that sell sequence again. But that 1-minute chart, it's busting out of its sell sequence. That's fine. The 1-minute chart might be leading us to that, but this is the area somewhere around 560 to 590 would be the optimal area for resumption back down again, if it's going to happen. Okay. And then comes the question, where do I want to take the trade? I can take it below the champion cross sell zone at around 514. I also want to be cognizant of the action on the ES. Is it pulling the NQ up? is it able to sustain? Because it went to that target that I identified for you and then some, right? We got above 47.5, right? We're sitting at 52, 53 right now, and we're above the MSR channel. We're about to convert over into a buy signal state on a 1-minute chart on the ES and the NQ. They're almost there on both accounts. But I'm trading the 5-minute chart, and we've risen into falling resistance on that 5-minute chart. We're in the lower half of the MSR channel. So where am I going to be convinced that we're going to continue on higher? Above the center, so 57, okay? I'll probably be of the opinion at that time, if price can sustain above there, that we ain't coming back down again. A resumption short's not likely. Okay, I don't know that yet. And with respect to the NQ, are we already there? No. With the NQ, I won't be convinced until the NQ's above 630, 625, somewhere in this area. For now, I'm just going to simply say, okay, this is where it can resume. ES might want to pull the NQ out of hot water and continue a oversold bounce here. The ES gets above 58, 57. There's not too much argument at that point. The NQ could whack-a-mole us back down, though. So I want to be very careful about trading the ES. I'm going to try to get them side by side if I can here. Looks like I can, sort of. Yeah. So I've got the NQ chart up, okay? And you're looking at 5-minute bars on the NQ. You're looking at 5-minute bars on the ES. I'm going to flip the ES to a 1-minute bar right now, because on the NQ, really need to get above 620, 630 to tell us that up is going to continue. And on the ES, we've already opened that door above 57. 57 to 63, I could try trading that pocket, but I'd really like to see the NASDAQ pull me up through there. And I don't have that. Could I resume a short here? Could the NASDAQ be giving me a reason to resume shorting? So just trying to analyze it, and see you later, Donna. Just trying to analyze it and try to figure it out. And Mr. Angira, I apologize if I'm butchering your name. Okay, Angira Halder. Can you copy the template? Absolutely. Which one do you want? The dark mode or the light mode? Do you want the ES one or the NQ one? You just let me know in the chat, and I'll just put up a layout code on screen that you can copy. Oh, you want both, Ken? Ken wants both. Okay, we'll get both done for you. Just give me a brief moment here to see if I can get another trade off. And stay tuned on the giveaway stuff. Stay tuned. Okay. NQ is trying to bust up. So I haven't forgot the layout code stuff, but I am going to try a trade up to 63 now. I'm trying it right now on the ES. I'm using the NQ, trying to get up through there. It might be a little early, so I got to have my finger on the trigger to get out, but I think I can get it up to 63. There we go, baby. There it is. Little pocket, diagnosed, 200 and change on that little trade right there. Got it done. And it's so beautiful outside. I got the big bay window on the side over here. And every so often I've got, folks are running and they're running and they're smiling and they're laughing. So I'm working hard for you and for me today so that I can go out and do that as well. And it's great having kids home from school, at this stage. He hasn't started all of his camps. He's starting a camp next week. He's a chef in training. Yeah, it's actually, Siraj, it's really nice weather here. It's really nice weather. It's not like stinking, humid hot yet. That's going to come. And well, Ken T, you're on fire, my friend. Amazing. I'm happy to hear that. Well done. So, folks, let me know what's going on your side right now. Okay, I'm looking for the next trade as well, and I'm going to get that layout code done for you. Let me just do that right now. For the ES chart with the triple S indicator on it, okay, you have to be an owner of the triple S indicator in order for it to work. But you go to layouts, layout menu. I'm just going to go export that layout. And let's see. So for whoever wants that layout code, just do a quick screen cap right now. Okay. Do a quick screen cap right now. Just go. Okay, so I'm going to now go to the other one. So if you make sure you copy that code. Okay, you'll probably have to, because I'm maybe I can dump it into the chat here. I'm not sure. I'm not going to mess around with the chat, so just do a screen cap. Let me know when you've got it, and then I'm going to continue giving you the layout code for the dark mode one, and then I'm going to show you where it's hard coded on screen. In fact, I've got a hard coded one in here without the Triple S add-on, just with the Champion Trend Pack, which I think will be even more useful. I just need to get it popped up. So let me see if I can find that real quick for you while we're waiting for the election of direction here. Because there's a good one that I've got that doesn't require you to have the Triple S indicator, but it has all of the Champion Trend Pack stuff on it. And I'm going to just find that bad boy right now. I think I found it. Perfect. So I'm just going to take you directly to a page that's got a bunch of the layout codes, and I'm going to highlight them. So let me just put that up on screen here. So right over here, okay, right over here, there's a bunch of layout codes, okay? They're not going to be applicable to everyone because not everyone's going to have all of the tools. If you want a layout code that has the Champion Trend Pack and some of the Wealth Chart member exclusive tools, that's the one that I'm highlighting in blue. So do a screen cap of that so that you can re-enter that. I know it's a little cumbersome. I apologize. But I don't know if I've got functionality here to put it in all the chats. So I'm going to try it right now. But that would be the one. And that's not in dark mode, though. So I'm going to get one in dark mode now for you in just a second. So let me know when you're good on that. And then I'm going to move on. Okay. So now I'm going to simply pop up the layout code on the dark mode version. Let me just move my ES chart off screen. And this one is going to be dark mode, but this one has Triple S and the Champion Trend Pack Toolkit. So I'll export it. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I'm staring right in front of me. Okay, there it is. There it is. So there's the code. Screen cap that bad boy. So you've got the ability to import that layout code. And if you don't know how to import on wealth charts, you can, of course, go to live support at any given moment, right? Top right-hand side of the screen, and ask folks to help you there. But it's really straightforward. Okay, it's really straightforward. So I'm assuming that you've got the screen cap for those who wanted it. Okay, you just go to the hamburger menu, go to the layout menu, drop down, and just go import and type those characters in, and you'll be able to import. Of course, save your work. So we were able to do a little Q&A there because we're waiting for whether or not the resumption to the downside is going to happen, or are we going to get a move that takes us higher, higher, and higher at this stage. I'm up about $530. Taking entries at the moments where trades can run, holding them for however I'm comfortable long. But I'm hopeful that it got you to a decent enough place on your side. Let me just see if I can pull this off screen for a moment, pull this on screen for a moment. I want to see if I can create another layout code here for you. And if anyone needs that code again, let me know. I'm happy to put it back up on the screen, right? I'm happy to put it back up on the screen. So Okay, so at this stage, we're waiting to see whether or not the bounce off of the cash session low is turning into a move that can actually trend us to a higher high versus the highs that we've seen for the session, which were made on the 9:50 a.m. Eastern Time 5-minute bar. Currently, on the 5-minute bars that you're looking at, we're trapped in the channel. We've poked our hairs above it. We have not yet surmounted it and said all is good. But you can see from the triple S tool, down signal, double red dots were in play, and then they went away. We've got single blue dots. Right. So the sell signal is cooling off. Blue, cool, right? Double red dots, aggressive down. The 1-minute chart's in a buy signal state, but I don't have the double green dots underneath price just as of yet. So not there just as of yet. Now I'm going to bring up on your screen the I wasn't able to get the other code, sorry. So I can put the same codes back up if you want. Just let me know. On the NQ, we're in a champion trend buy signal state, triple S buy signal state. We're getting the single blue dots, but we're also getting that orange ball under price, which is wealth signal, which implies that we're moving into stage 2 of a buy sequence on a 1-minute time frame, which is, of course, trying to work against the sell signal state that we're trying to evacuate on a 5-minute chart, but we have not. So just not to mince words, we're coming up into resistance. The 1-minute chart's optimistic to try to break us out, but it's not been successful yet. So no trade at this stage. No trade at this stage. And Jimmy, range breaker and wealth signal, they kind of play, both have double duty. There's certain moments where resumptions are resumptions of a sequence. You move into a resumption of a sequence, and range breaker remarks stage 2. When you're just starting a sequence fresh, wealth signal usually remarks stage 2. And there's some incredible videos on demand to watch on this that have already been done by Rob and myself. So I'm going to show you where you can find that. And Nitin, I think you've asked the question exactly at the right time. So, what I would suggest, and I would strongly suggest this, because especially if you're new and you're sitting back and you're going, how do I understand how the indicators work together? What is this sequence you're talking about? This is too much info. It can hit you hard. Go to the hamburger menu. On wealth charts, there's this entire thousands and thousands of hours of education, and it's well curated into folders. You go to the education section, you go to Wealth Charts TV, okay, you grab that module. I'll just plop it up on the screen right here. I'll just make that full screen, and you'll see a bunch of folders. Okay, you'll see a bunch of folders in here. You see prior summits. We're coming into a summit, by the way, in about 2 weeks from now, which is going to be the biggest one yet. And I'm presenting several times. Rob's going to be there every day. So that's definitely an event to come to, but I digress. Wealth Charts Prop Trader Training. It literally is labeled Prop Trader Training. In that folder, okay, there's a bunch of videos. Okay, watch Rob's videos. If you like how I'm doing things as well, watch my video. It's literally right there. It says, accelerated training for day, for day and prop traders. I'm just going to click that. Okay. And then what I'm going to show you here, I just want to mute it so that I don't hear myself twice. But literally what I do in this video is I walk you through stage 1. What does champion trend have to show? What does champion cross have to show? Stage 2, stage 3. What do I need to see? Okay. So right here, I'll just pause it. For example, see, stage 2 is remarked by wealth signal or range breaker. Stage 3 is remarked by the breakout forecasters. So that'll give you a little bit of this, visual connection of what the indicator is, what stage it's remarked to, but then making it useful is all about putting it. So I've got a bunch of textbook examples here, a bunch of textbook examples on the long side, on the short side, with the key being at what point of the bar's life can I actually trigger the trade? It's all fine and dandy to have an indication. Then the next bar opens up, it's going the other way. What do you do? Okay, so I try to make it, painfully clear exactly at what point during, at the beginning, at the end, or at the beginning of the next bar, what do I need to see to trigger a stage 1 champion trend pack trade?
What do I need to see to trigger a stage 2 trade, a stage 3 trade? And I do it on the long side, do it on the short side. I do a bunch of examples. I do some simulated examples as well with the Wealth Charts Trading Simulator, which is a great practice environment. Right? I think that was one of those moments where I was doing that in this video. And then I start to combine it with other tools that are available on Wealth Charts that are part of your Ultimate Wealth Charts membership. Or if you got your Wealth Charts all booted up by getting a prop account, you'll have access to, I think, most of these tools. Don't quote me on all. Champion Trend Pack will be there, right? The Spike 2.0 and the speed lines might not, they probably are going to be there as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this video, especially to folks that are new. So Nitin D, you're saying, I'm new here. Can you explain briefly how these indicators work? So there's this is the video, this is the go-to. And again, how do you find that? Go to the hamburger menu, go to education, go to Wealth Charts TV, bring that onto your dashboard, and then select prop trader training. And then go to the video that's labeled Ziad Jasani Accelerated Trading for Day and Prop Traders. That's the video we were just looking at right now. So Nitin, did the message get through to you? Let me know, because I'm sure others are also going to be interested in it, but I want to make sure that folks got it. Okay, please check it out, because that's foundational, right? This is a foundational toolkit. So it's going to make a big difference. So am I glad that I was talking about that stuff while this little volatility was happening? Well, I don't know. Let's assess right now. So I've got the ES tentatively back to a sell on a 1-minute chart, not yet below support of the MSR channel. I'm thinking of trading it short if the NASDAQ continues to progress down. I got trapped in a trade like this before. Remember, I was doing that trade with the, who was asking? Someone was asking earlier about stop loss, right? And I'd done like a 40 ticks trail. It was a similar type of setup here, and it ripped back up, I think, on me. It feels very similar. It was obviously on the 1-minute time frame then. So what I'm going to do now is flip the NQ down to a 1-minute time frame. I want to get both of these kind of side by side right now, so we can have a good view of them both. Let's see if I have to get it out of full screen mode to do that. Okay, so that's good. So a little less real estate on the screen, but I do want them side by side right now, so you can see what I'm trying to work towards. And NQ starts weakening here. See red? I'm taking the short on the ES on the basis of the NQ weakening. It's got to keep weakening, otherwise this trade's bunk. This trade's looking bunk. If we get into the upper half of the MSR channel, I got troubles. Still holding it in a sell signal state, still holding it. Still holding it. Don't like what the NQ's doing, though. It's getting a little too perky for me. Still holding the trade. I want to see the NQ get batted back down from that breakout forecaster. But my trade's out of the money about 160 bucks, and I don't like what I'm seeing just yet. The NQ is still struggling. It's not been able to push through. So my finger's on the trigger to risk manage. The trade's profit positive now. Let's see the NQ whoosh and drag the S&P down. Or not, right? Don't want to make it more exciting than it actually is. I'm just not seeing enough. I'm out. Lost 37 bucks on it. Okay, come down below the low. I can re-enter the trade, but it's not my style to jump right back in. I need a moment to kind of collect myself and see if I want to take that trade. But I wasn't seeing the NQ just whoosh. And if we're looking at the NQ, it is moving into a sell signal state tentatively on the 5-minute chart. So is the ES. Well, the ES stayed in its sell signal state, but I think you can tell I got out in the what's the saying, nick of time. So I'm happy that I didn't succumb to a 8, 9, 10 point oops. It was just a few ticks, and that's great. I'm seeing more people run outside right now, so it's nice to see that from where I am, of course. All right, so folks, the short didn't work. And you know what Rob says? If the sells aren't selling, maybe it's time to buy. Well, maybe it is. I don't want to get trapped with the NASDAQ doing some funny business on me. So we're looking at a 1 minute chart on the ES. Let's flip the NQ to the 1 minute chart where my execution is as well. We're coming up to the local resistance, trying to bust above. I would like to get one more trade fired off before the end of the session. It's a profit positive session so far. So I can share that with you here. So I'm up just shy of $500, trading two accounts separately, right? Not trying to do any heroics. Okay, we're coming up into the 60s on the ES. We know that 75 is an important number, right? That 75 number should be well ingrained at this stage, right? It comes from here, the work that we did in the pre-market, those volume point of control lines, really 72 to 74, 75 in this area. I'm just going to use the higher of the two. 75 is the number. Okay, so is there a trade back up to that water line? That's the door we were knocking on before the market cash hour started. The ES had gotten to knock on that door, but the NQ had not knocked on that door, right? The NQ knocked on that door during cash hours. It didn't walk through it, right? Tried to. We got up into the, I think, low 830s or where did we get up to? High was 840. High was 840. But we didn't stay up above that water line. So that water line is the same sort of water line as it is for the ES, right? So I'll just put that over here so you can kind of get a sense of them side by side. Let's get that going properly here for you. I just want to make sure I got the ESU here on screen. There we go. So the same way that we've got, and these are daily bars right now, and the reason I'm kind of slowing it down over here is I want to make it very clear. We have not moved through the threshold on the NASDAQ that says up, and away is here to stay. That's 820, 830. Okay. We have been above the threshold on the ES to say up, and away, but we haven't sustained. That's 74, 75. Right. So those are very important levels to help with decision making as you move forward through the morning and as you move into the balance of the day overall. Now, if we look at what's happening at this moment, are we in a buy signal state on a 1 minute chart for the ES? We are. Are we in a buy signal state on a 1 minute chart for the NQ? We are. Okay. We need 200 more points on the NQ to open that door. We need about a dozen points to open the door on the ES. Is it worthwhile trying to play the retrace back up? No, it's a troublesome situation to me because we started off the day knowing, coming from last week, we're in a market that is oversold. A lot of the gauges and metrics that I used analyzing the market into the end of the day on Friday, in sessions that I did into the end of the day on Friday, told me that we're probably going to see an oversold bounce. That oversold bounce to start the week is probably going to fail. And we're probably going to end up coming down. At what point in the week does that happen, though? As Anthony N was mentioning, yeah, seasonality is positive for this week, but we're in a market that may be obfuscating the normal by being in a being controlled by the AI theme and the breakdown thereof. So I'm not really going to be optimistic. But right now I'm seeing the ES try to get its way up to 74, 75. You can't deny that. I'm really considering whether I want to take on one more long side trade over here up to 75. I'm seeing a little compression in the speed lines, but I want to see if we can get a little expansion there. Now we're through resistance on the 5 minute chart, and on the hourly chart, we're through resistance as well. So I've got some open road, so to speak. I really would like to see the NASDAQ lead us up, though, at this stage. So I've got my finger on the trigger for an ES long. We're 5 minutes into the end of the hour, and I'm late already. I've tried one. I'm in. I want to see if it works. If we go below 70, I might have to take my lumps and get out. Might. I don't know yet. I want to see if the NQ is still giving me cause to play the trade. It is, right? It's pushing up through the almost through 700, but I'm down about 200 on this trade. No, thank you. You know what? I want to keep at least half the profit that I've made on the day. So no, thank you. So that trade didn't work out and it's into the end of the session. So I'm going to cease my trading activities into the end of the session and get ready for you for a robust trade review, some outlook, some Q&A, all of that kind of stuff I'm going to be able to do. And I see some folks asking questions on giveaways. Please stay tuned on that. Please stay tuned on that. You know, that just wait on that if you don't mind. Okay. So folks, we came here, we identified the nature of the market. You know, one bad trade at the end wiped out half my P&L, but still profit positive on the day, about 250 bucks or so, and looking to build it as the day progresses. I'm not going to trade into the end of the hour at this stage, but what I want to do is a quick roundup right now, just see if the way that I'm discussing the market, the way that I'm bringing the trades up for potential execution, and how I'm kind of linking things, is it useful to you? Let me know with a lucky number 7 in the chat. If I'm going too fast, or if I'm using too much jargon, it's up to you to put those suggestions into the chat and let me know. Okay, that's going to help me help you. Okay, so I'm just looking through the chat right now, seeing how folks are responding to that. Looks like things are working for you. So there it is. So JT, that's a great question. That's a great question. Was it a bad trade or just an adverse outcome? It was an adverse outcome, I think. I still think that we're in a bull flag trying to struggle bust our way up to that waterline. But I think that we're in a day that is filled with the potential for adverse outcomes. The nature of the day is an oversold bounce against, categorically, a very negative market, a very negative market near all-time highs. So the down move from the 22nd into the 26th, right? It's nasty. It's not necessarily as nasty as it was in the earlier part of June, but it was nasty. And it was a lot more volatile, a lot more whipsawing, right? When we had the moves on the 9th, the down and the up, there were consistent intraday trends. And when you were looking at the 11th, the reversal on the 11th, there were consistent trends. When you looked at the action beyond the 23rd, even on the 23rd, there was so much whippiness on the 24th, 5th, and 6th. It was a very difficult trading week. And this is not setting up to be a whole bunch easier, right? JT, your question's so spot on that it just, makes me want to go, hey, this is the nature of the oversold bounce near all-time highs in a market that's got undercurrents that are dragging it. Okay. And breaking things effectively. It makes this week fraught with adverse outcomes, right? If we are able to get through the doors that I've discussed with you, which effectively for the ES is 74.75, which we've been above, but we're not above right now. It's the volume point of control lines, going back to the beginning of May and beginning of June. And this is where the most number of contracts exchange hands. You can see the struggle we had last week in the same area, right? Once we submerged below it on the 23rd, it was game over. We're trying to get game back on again. Trying is all good, but if we're trading the market's trying to get back above the waterline, so it's got some air to breathe, it's fraught with adverse outcomes because you're trading an oversold bounce that's struggling. It's struggle busting its way to, it's trying to swim from the bottom of the lake back up to the waterline, and it's got things tied to its legs still. Not necessarily the most kind analogy, but I guess it's better than swimming with the fishes if you're able to actually unshackle yourself and get through those doors. The strongest insight I can provide is, look, if the NQ comes up above 830 again, 29,830, and if the ES is above 75 before that, 74.75, and you've got the NQ above 830, you've got something good going on for up and away. All right, folks. So I hope that what you've got from me this morning has been helpful in your decision making. I'm profit positive on the day, looking forward to building that profit positivity as the day continues. And for those of you that are sitting back, wondering about things, you have questions to ask, or you want a little more diagnostic of the day, we're going to take a quick pause right now for a few minutes. And then we're going to get into the next segment of our market morning together. And I'm just trying to find the right slide to put up in front of you right now. And we will be back up live at 11:05 a.m. Eastern time. So I'm just going to plop this up on your screen right now. I'll make sure that that's well seen. So we'll get back. I'll be back at my desk. I'm just going to get off my desk, grab another green tea, and maybe some water, and get right back to my desk. And Gus, hey, that's amazing. I am super, super proud of you and super happy for you, man. That's amazing. All right, folks. Gus wrote in his chat, got my first payout, and it's thanks to you. Well, it's thanks to you for spending the time working on it. So that's amazing. All right, folks, let's take a little bio break. Back here in just a few minutes. And we'll carry on for our trade review and Q&A segment of our Market Mornings Trading with yours truly. Hang tight. I'll be back here very shortly, folks. 7, however you want to communicate in the chat. Hey, Joel, I just saw your comment there. Thank you. I appreciate that. Looks like folks are good to go. All right, let's get the show back on the road then. So the objective of this segment of the session, the way that I kind of want to do things is I want to do the read, the execution, and then the lesson. All right, that if one doesn't go back and actually looks at the lessons and the good trades, the bad trades, the adverse outcomes, as JT was saying, versus a bad trade, and actually it does not review that, we're not really making the most use of our time. Having our time spent and then coming back, reviewing what worked, what didn't, understanding a little bit more about the strategy and the tools of how these things are playing out. That's what makes one really successful at being able to actually carry forward and take the lessons that they've learned and build on them and become better over time. So let's zoom in right now at that. It looks like folks did well on the day. I'm seeing lots of great comments on the chat. I'm profit positive, low triple digits, but still profit positive. So let's go in and do that. Well, there we go. Well, I'm happy to hear that, Ruth Ann. That's great. And let's continue the conversation now by going, okay, nature of the day, trades taken along the ride, future potential trades for the balance of the day. So I'm gonna kind of just do it by going, we're in an oversold market state coming into this future session, and we were in an oversold bounce. We still are in it. The major waterline that the markets that matter need to get above have been tested, breached in the case of the ES. You can see that. I'll just make that full screen. You can see the ES got above these two little pink lines there. They are volume point of controls going back to the beginning of May, beginning of June. And I've got these nested volume profile histograms in there. Why is this so important? Because these are the highways, the roads, right? The ceilings, the walls. This is the market infrastructure where if we're not aware of where, what these road, whether it's a highway, whether it's a road, whether it's single lane, and which direction, we're just blind. So we want to make sure that I want to make sure that you're aware that if we see the S&P 500 above 74.75, if it's above there and we've got the same sort of action on the NQ for its volume point of control sitting around the 29,820, 830-ish area. Now, either or, right? But we need both above their water lines for the market to truly carry forward this oversold bounce. Otherwise, the nature of the trade, back up to it is fraught with risk. Each time you get a buy signal, okay, we know that we're trying to get through a threshold, but we've not been able to on both accounts at the same time. And that leaves us in a spot where the trader is going to struggle to go, okay, I've got long side signals. I've got buy signals. Everything's ready to go. Wait a second. We've been up here already. We didn't get both markets above. We weren't able to see something that was successful to carry forward this oversold bounce and make it a robust uptrending day. So now the number one lesson is trades to reach the waterline from here, if we are to start rising again, are fraught with potential adverse outcomes. Okay, that's one. Two, if we're coming back down again, okay, where do we need to see things break? So I'm going to start with the NQ on this conversation. We're going to start out with a daily chart of the NQ. Where does price need to come down below to tell us things are starting to get unruly again? So what you've got on screen right now that matters for support resistance structures, let me see if I can highlight it. Those are the speed lines. Let me just see if I can get there it is, the channel. Okay, so I'm just, what I've done on my wealth charts here is there's a little plus button at the top left-hand side of your screen. I'm just exploding it open. It shows you which indications are visible on screen. I have some other ones on here that are kind of hidden away because it might be a bit much. I'm highlighting the channel. So this version of the MSR channel also includes the feature where it shares with you whether technicals are more or less effective. It's called the technical damage channel. So when you see the green lines, the olive green lines go to magenta, it's a period of time where there's less effectiveness for the technical tools or signals. Doesn't mean they won't work. But, as JT was asking that question, adverse reactions can happen. So we don't have magenta on the daily chart here, but I'm not bringing it up for that reason. You'll see magenta on some of the other channels as we move, down in time frame, not the 4-hour chart, but the 1-hour chart, which is the boss, right? You can see the magenta on the channel right there, and right there. So technicals are a little less effective. Adverse reactions can take place. Look at the 5-minute chart channel. It's technically damaged. You've got magenta, 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 right? So, and that's been in place now since about 10:55 a.m. Eastern time. So I'm in a buy signal from my own proprietary indicator, the Triple S tool, on a 5-minute chart. And I trade the 5-minute chart as a day trader. I've got Rob's champion trend pack in stage 1 of its three-stage sequence on the buy side. But I've got the channel telling me be careful. And I've got the architecture of the market in a spot where I might try to come back up to that waterline, 74.75, 29.820, 830 on the NQ. This is not an environment that I want to trade. I'd rather take the trades on the bullish long side trades, two hands, two legs, that kind of thing, above 75, especially if I'm above 820 on the NQ. But we have to look at the other side of that, right? What if this thing is going to unravel? Where do we need to come down to break things that matter? So the way that I'm going to answer that question is I'm going to go start at the daily chart, and I'm going to go, the bigger the time frame, the deeper the technical tracks that are laid down. The higher the walls of resistance are to climb, the stronger the floors of support are to break through. Okay, so I'm going to use that to kick off the, hey, where's it going to get unruly? Below the center of the MSR channel on the daily chart. What's the value? Right, it'll change as time and price move forward. But right now it's sitting at 29,460, almost 461. Okay, so that's an important number. It's right there. You've got my layout code, so you can immediately plop it up, pull it up on the screen and look at it in the same way. On your wealth charts, 29,460 is the line. Okay, below there be dragons. There's probably going to be, more negativity. And down to where? Well, down to the lows of the, lows of the session, to Friday's lows, bottom of the MSR channel, 29,100. Now, at the same time that we're looking at that danger area, we know that 29,820 is the line on the NQ, right? It is the line on the NQ that we would need to get above, right? It's sitting right there. But we're going to use the benefit of the technical structures, using the live price action, to say, hey, well, if it gets above here, could it be making that run for the 820 border? And here would be the top of the MSR channel right there. It's sitting effectively at 29,800, say for half a point or a tick. So perhaps we'll get an inkling that things are going to start getting more robust there. Could it happen before then? Well, yeah, it can. You've got these two falling lines above price right now, which, by the way, puts us in a kill zone. Those are the speed lines. The magenta speed line, red speed line, pink one, is the slow speed line. The cyan or blue one is the fast speed line. Okay, they are very short-term acting support and resistance or trending type signals. And we don't have a crossover yet that says all is going to be well for up, up, and away. If that blue line crosses above the magenta line, then you've got some traction, right? Then the moving averages have crossed over like they did right there prior to a gap. Well, this is a futures change, right? But it is what it is. So let's go and just put the pieces together. Okay, if we get above even 29,800 from here, and we're not that far away, we're at 727, 730 right now. The door might be open for this oversold bounce to carry forward, and long side trading might become a lot cleaner above the 820, 830 area. Below the fast speed line right over here, I start to get concerned. 620. Below 460, I want to be short. right? I probably want to be short below 620. I'm almost certain that I'd want to be short below 460. Now I'm going to whittle the time frame down to what matters here for the next several hours. So we're going to juxtapose the levels that we've identified using the structures, the technical structures on screen, with the 1 hour chart. So I'm going to bring the 1 hour chart right beside the daily chart right now. Okay, so you got the, let's get the daily chart back up here. So there's your daily chart of the NQ. I'm just going to minimize this right now, and I'm going to make that full screen. So just get the subchart out of the way. All we're trying to do right now is assess, hey, are we going to try to get above 800? And then what will we have to come down below to start warning ourselves? So we said, look, as early as 620. So I'm going to go to the 1 hour chart and I go, where is 620 on the 1 hour chart? Oh, interesting. It's almost the center of the channel. And it's a two quadrant channel. There's an upper half and a lower half. The upper half's better for up and away. The lower half is like a fly trap or, push prices back down. So yeah, that validates it for me, 620, 610, but we're not there right now. We're above the top of the 1 hour chart's MSR channel. We're sitting at around 730. Is this good enough for me to want to take on a long and not be too concerned? No, this is where I'd want the market to be the guinea pig. Someone else get us above there. I see that 11 twice. I see the little image there. My son will probably do a better South Park impersonation than I'm not even going to attempt it, man. It'll just flop, like literally right away. It'll flop as soon as I try to change it. So I'm not gonna. But hey, I learn something every day when I teach. I trade better when I teach, and sometimes it's not just teaching; it's just a live narrative. And then you do the review, right? So the review right now that we're doing is we're trying to get so granular where I'm going, okay, we come down below the daily charts, fast speed line around 610, 620. We know that that's in the lower half of the 1 hour charts MSR channel. I've got that now marked, right? I've got my tracks laid down for me to go, okay, I can short below 620 down to 460. Okay, that I've got. And this thing can turn right back down again, right? We don't have the market above the water lines that really give me any reason to believe that we're going to continue this oversold bounce and up and away we're going to trend. We're not above 820. We're not even above 800 right now on the NQ. So if it starts to come back down, you can start to tell that I always go from, I go both ways. Kind of like, I don't know how many folks are old enough to remember the David Hasselhoff show, Knight Rider. Oh, I was a kiddo when that came out. And what was the car's name? Kit. And it had these lights going back and forth. So I'm always scanning from big time frame all the way down to small time frame all the way back up to big, right? Because what I'm looking for is not just the on chart signal. I'm looking at the structures. Gus, you remember it, eh? Yeah. So effectively, what I'm saying to you right now is I'm going to scan all the time frames. I'm putting the two most relevant ones on the screen for you right now, where better decisions can be made. Right. So we are holding above the MSR channel top on the hourly chart, barely. We're coming down to test it right now. Do I want to short here? No. I've already identified the bigger technical track, which is around 610, 620. It's now at 613 on the daily chart, which is pretty much lapping the center of the hourly charts channel. And keep in mind, we're in a partial buy signal state on the hourly chart. Okay, and on the daily chart. So I don't want to mess around until I get into an area where I know it's more likely that we're going to get pulled back down. And Tom L saying Baywatch was better. I never got into that show, but that was a Hasselhoff show as well, right? That guy was a character. But I remember watching that Knight Rider show quite a bit when I was young, when I had the opportunity to. When I was younger, my family effectively made me work. That's about it, which I'm very thankful of, because it just put the discipline in right away. Right? I was effectively, let's not call it child slave labor. I was family labor, unpaid family labor, but it paid dividends beyond any belief afterwards. All right, so now I'm not gonna be able to add a whole bunch over here. I want to just make sure that I've dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's. If there's any questions that you may have, you know that this segment of our morning session is the time to ask it. But as far as trade review goes, I've shown you where the pitfalls are, and I'll just be specific. Below 610, I want to short down to 460. Below 460, the gloves come off, right? It becomes a bare knuckle fight, and we're moving down, potentially to the bottom of the daily charts MSR channel, which is in the 29,100-ish area. And of course, you can use the time frames appropriately, right? The 5-minute chart tends to cast its signal out 20, 90 minutes in the future. It's in a buy signal state right now. So as tempted as one may be to try to short this thing because it's failing to go higher, I ain't doing that. I have not come down below the 610-ish marker, the fast speed line on the daily chart. And I have not come down into the lower half of the 1-hour charts MSR channel. So no. Now, can I go long? I'm not above 29,800. I can't go long. Above 29,800, I know I've got a water line at 820, 830 from the volume point of control, from the top lip of the mattress, which is the center of the weekly pivot range. It's that purple line. This week, the purple line's above the blue line, which is a bearish configuration for the pivots. Where, I gave this to you in the preamble in the market morning, more opportunity to come down. So right now, no trading. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. If I get the opportunity for markets to go risk on, come up, get above the 800 marker, which may happen, right? It's trying it right now again. We're at 740, but I can sit here and let someone else get me through that threshold, and then I can jump onto the trade knowing that I've already identified. So you should ask the question then, well, where are you trading it up to? If you get above 800, 820, what's the target? I think, Jimmy, you just put that question in for the ES, right? So I'll do that for you on the ES side in just a second. But very simply, if we get above, I love that. Who put that in there? Drew, that's awesome. The only Hoff that matters. That's great. Let's see if I can grab that image and bring it up on screen over here for folks to see it. That's the one. That's the one. I agree with that. There you go. The only king of trading that matters, right there. There we go. Well done, Drew. Well done. Okay. Anyways, back to seriousness over here. The question that needs to be answered now is, if you're trading it long above 820 on the NQ, where is it going to? And then I'll do the same thing for the ES, and then we'll bring our morning activities to a close. If we're above 820, the door opens. I'm spreading the chart out so you can see that volume profile histogram. The door opens first to this hollow area in the volume profile histograms, the recent ones, which is around the 940 area, and then to the next node, which is around 30,030 points. Those would be the next two lines that we'd probably be attracted to. And of course, we can use the technical signals along the ride to help us. Now, on the ES, I know, Jimmy, you asked what are the target areas that we could be going to on the ES. If we get above 75, the next area, again, that we can probably get all the way up to is in the low 7,500s to 75 teens, even somewhere in this area. 7516 to 7,500 would be the target area that we could get to, and then evaluation would be required. What about on the other way around? Well, we did that work already on the NQ moments ago. I shared with you where we could come down to, so I'm not going to repeat that. But on the ES, if we lose support of this little node right here, which is around the 44 area, I'd want to confirm that we're below 35. That's a very important mathematically driven line in the sand for the week. Below 74.35, we can see a fairly quick unravel that could take us back down to the session lows or lower. Okay, now this market is struggling to try and get up to a line where it can poke its head above water to breathe. It hasn't been able to sustain there. The ES got a little oxygen, but it submerged as well, right? It's under there as well. So there you have it, folks. How'd the morning go overall? Let me know. I hope that you've enjoyed your time here with me to kick off this shortened week of trade. We do have data coming out. The majority of the data that comes out that's important is Really, Thursday is the most important data day because we get the payrolls results for US markets. But I'll put a slide up over here that gives you an idea of what's happening for the balance of the week. Let me pop that up on your screen right now. So Thursday is the day that we get the non-farm payrolls. Usually it's the first Friday of the month. Obviously, Friday is cash markets are closed in observance of the July 4th Independence Day, the big 250. I can't believe that, eh? It's crazy. 250. Wednesday, we got the ISM data coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Tomorrow, the data flow is light, right? So you do have the JOLTS job openings. You do have a Chicago PMI. The conference board's consumer confidence data is coming out, some oil inventory data, but really is Wednesday and Thursday, the ISM data, and then the employment data. And what's my views over here? I'm still formulating exactly what the actual results are going to do to the market, but I've already got a view on where the market is likely to go. More on that tomorrow in terms of where the market's likely to go for the week. But I think that we're in an oversold bounce that might actually have legs to carry on for the next day and a half. But I think it's going to lean into bad news into the end of the week. So think about the week shaped like a parabola, but a parabola that starts today, gets a little choppy, tries to poke out to highs, i.e., let's bring that back on screen over here, tries to poke out on the ES, into this territory, but is not able to get too much further and not able to carry on too much further. Maybe at most the volume point of control in the mid 7500s, and then back down again would be the idea. So I'm going to leave that there, folks. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm seeing so many amazing results in the chat. And Ravi, that's okay, right? It happens. Learn from the lesson, right? So we've laid down the tracks for long above, short below. We've identified, things that could be encumbrances along the ride. I'm profit positive on the day, between $200-300, and looking at building that when I'm in the pockets that are better to trade. Right? We've been hanging around here, and there would have been a lot of burned accounts, probably burned trades in this area. And we identified in advance that this is not the area to trade, right? Above 800, 820, below 620, down to 460. Those are areas that make a lot more sense. I think we're going to try to play the long out. I think that the market's going to gather itself enough to try and make a move higher. And I don't think it's going to sustain for the week. Okay, but there you have it. You're looking for targets on the ESNQ. You're looking for trading pockets. All that's now done. And I hope you had a great morning. Let me know in the chat how the morning overall was for you. You can simply, put a thumbs up in there or a lucky number 7 and share with me if things worked out well for you from the learning and or the earning side. Right, from the learning and or the earning side. And I hope it went well on both sides. So again, a big thanks to everyone listening in. All joking aside, this is a very serious endeavor every day, right? I don't want to be, the teacher with the ruler, because I'm not, but I want to be useful and, on point with the words coming out of my mouth and what you're seeing on screen each day in a manner that resonates with you. And I always encourage folks, if you've got constructive comments that you want to put in to go, hey, if you do this or tweak that, it'll be a little bit easier for me to digest. Okay. Or give me a little more background here or there. Okay. Put those things up. Well, folks, I hope that and Bill G, that's super nice to hear. I'm glad you like this format. I'm glad you like this format. That's amazing. Okay, well, folks, that is the end of my time with you for this amazing market morning and market week. And we are struggle busting our way up. Hold on tight for the next segments. I'll be back a little later. And for folks who are listening in right now, I hope you had an amazing, amazing start to the week. It's a shortened week of trade. Make the most of it. But make sure that you pick the spots where things are going to be very clean and clear. Bruno, not bad at all, my friend. Those are some big numbers to put up on the board. I'm super happy to hear that. Hey, looks like it was a nice, pleasant start to the week. It's my pleasure, Scott and Brian. All right, folks, I got to bug out. Have an incredible rest of your day. Thanks for your time.